and your heart sinks for a second. And then they come back, running back, and everything's fine. But what if they didn't come back? There's always that what if. And what if they didn't come back? Would you have the proper information to get into the authorities' hands as quickly as possible, so they can do what they have to do? So that's what this is for. This is the Child Safe ID Kit. Okay. What you do right here, front page is simple. Write Olivia's name and the date it was completed. Turn it over here. All the pertinent information is on this page here. Anything that changes, like height and weight, you're going to write in pencil. So you can change anything that's permanent, you're going to write in pen. Right next to it is a spot for Olivia's picture. So what you're going to do here is we recommend every 6 to 12 months you update that picture. And also a spot here that you can write in pencil to update her age and the photo, the date that the photo was taken. On the inside here, there's a couple more spots. One is for physical descriptions for things like scars or birthmarks. You're going to want to mark them down here, and there's a spot for notes as well here. This is very important because this allows it. This makes it so the authorities can find Olivia as quick as possible. Okay. There's a spot for a DNA sample, so we recommend a piece of hair. It has to have that follicle on it. Okay. Make sure you tape that right here. Then there's a spot for fingerprints. There's a fingerprint strip here. You're going to peel it back and do it around bath time. Goes left to right. Make sure that you don't smear across the page. Okay. One of the most important things and this brochure is on the back, where it explains how to teach your children about 911 and the dangers of strangers. One thing that we recommend to every family that we sit down with is to not put Olivia's name anywhere where a stranger can see it, like on a backpack. A lot of parents do that these days, and that's not a good thing. A stranger can come up to Olivia after school and say, "Hey, Olivia, you need to come with me. Your parents were in an accident. They're in the hospital." She might go just because they used her name. So what we recommend is we tell all the families that they should come up with a password of some sort. For instance, let's say it was celery. You'd have to send a close friend to pick Olivia up from school, and they say, "Olivia, you need to come with me. Your parents sent me. Password celery." They know everything's okay. We also teach families about passcodes too. For instance, if Olivia was at a friend's house and something happened to make her feel uncomfortable, parents are fighting, or she sees drug use in the house, she can give you a call and say, "Hey, Mom, can you bring my soccer ball?" You'll know something's amiss. You get there right away. I'm going to pick her up. So they did a great job with these. Now, when we sat down with the International Union of Police, we told them that we get these into as many families' homes as we possibly could. But with our limited time and resources, can we get them into every home? Probably not. Just an agent in the specific area. But one cool thing that they do allow us to do is they allow us to get 6 families from you that with children that you want to make sure that they have these kids in their homes as well. Who would be the first family that you want to make sure is taken care of?
I'd say my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, Jessica.
Jessica. Okay. Last name?
Benton.
Benton. Okay. Jessica married?
Yes. Her
Okay.
husband's name is Robert.
Robert. Okay. What do they do?
And she's an X-ray tech.
Okay. And where do they live?
In Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah. Great. And phone number, please.
315-244-0956.
Okay. And sister. How many kids do Jessica and Robert have?
They have 2 kids.
Okay, great. Who's next?
My brother, Jim.
Jim. Okay. Same last name?
Yeah, Benton.
Okay.
Yep. Single guy.
Single? Okay. What does Jim do?
Jim's an electrician.
And where does Jim live?
Syracuse.
What's Jim's phone number?
315-481-8180.
And how many kids does Jim have?
And he's got 1.
Okay, great. Okay, man, Nicole, this is what. Oh. I'm gonna get a hold of these guys, your brother and sister. Let them know that you've sponsored them for the Child Safe ID kits, and we'll get them to their homes as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Matt, Nicole, this is what you qualified for. This is called the Premier Family Care Plan. Okay. Your contribution, if you wish to enroll, is $38.22 a week. Okay. Now, why in the world is anything $38.22 a week? This is what we call the hour power principle. Essentially, what you do is you take the first hour of your work weeks, pay yourself, take the other 39 hours plus overtime, do with it what you want, but you know everything's protected at the end of the day and all the gaps are filled. So if I were to come up to the both of you and say, great news, I'm going to give you an extra hour's worth of pay a week, are you going to go off and buy a brand new car with it? Probably not, right? If I were to reverse that and take an hour away, would you just go off selling off everything you own around here to make ends meet?
Definitely.
All right. That's why they came up with a $38.22. They want to make sure everything's affordable. Would you agree $38.22 wouldn't change too much around here?
Yeah, we can all agree that.
Okay. Okay, great. Let me ask both of you a question. Have either one of you ever been on the financial side of arranging a funeral?
No.
No? Okay. Traditional funerals, on average, today cost about $14,000. What most families that we sit down with, what they don't realize is that insurance companies don't handle the costs of the cost of funerals the way that they used to. The way it used to work is, if something were to happen to you, Matt, Nicole, you would take that life insurance policy, hand it to the funeral director, and that would serve as collateral until the insurance check showed up. It does not work that way anymore. It used to be that insurance companies had 24 days to pay on your policy. Now they have up to 60 days, sometimes longer, to pay on it. Do you know why that might be?
No.
No. It's interest. It's all that interest. Millions and millions of dollars they make on your policy, holding on to it as long as they can to get interest. That's why so many families are burdened with out-of-pocket costs when it comes time to handling a funeral. There's something also going on where there's two large companies. One's called SCI out of Texas. The other one is the Alderwoods Group in Canada. What they're doing is they're going all over, buying all the cemeteries and funeral homes they can. They want to be the Walmart of the funeral industry. Okay, and the only reason I bring that up is their corporate policy is to collect 50% of the costs up front. And I don't know about you or your financial situation, but not many families that we sit down with have $7,000 to come up with when it comes time to handling a funeral. The ones that do, they want to hold on to that money because there's so many costs that come in afterwards. Okay, that's why they've come up with this. This is the freedom of choice funeral certificate. Matt, if something were to happen to you, God forbid, Nicole, you would take this certificate. By the way, it doesn't matter how and where or why. It could be tomorrow, God forbid, it could be 50 years from now, Matt, that something happens to you. Nicole, you can take this certificate, give it to the funeral home of your choice. Anywhere in the United States, they'll accept it. In fact, they love it because it's so much less, because it's backed by big, powerful unions like yours. They know they're going to get paid, okay? So let's say you want to do a traditional and the average is $14,000 and that's what you decided. Nicole, you would turn this over, you'd write $14,000 here, fill in the arrangements, sign as the beneficiary, everything's taken care of, there's not one dime of out-of-pocket costs, as long as you keep Matt's funeral under $37,000 and Matt, you keep Nicole's funeral under $37,000, okay? Now these are two very important numbers, okay? The first thing that the funeral director is going to do after you leave the funeral home, Nicole, is he's going to call this number right here and he's going to ask two questions. He's going to first ask, are you enrolled in the program? After today, you guys will be. The second thing that he's going to ask is how much money you guys have to work with. You know, if we told him that you had $37,000 to work with, how much do you think that funeral would magically cost?
$37,000.
Right on, yeah. It shouldn't work that way. We don't allow it to work that way. We ask that you never reveal that number. We never reveal that number. All we would do is we would write them a check for the $14,000, cut Nicole and the kids' check it back for the difference. Okay, it's the cleanest, easiest, most compassionate way to handle what's going to happen to all of us. It's kind of like a prearranged funeral. Have you ever heard of prearrangements?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're great in concept. Everything's taken care of prior to death. This is the same thing, but remember, this is permanent and portable. You're not locked into one funeral home, and prearrangements can be expensive. They can be up to $100 a month, and then at the end of it, you only have what you've put into it. These are two blank checks for $37,000 for the both of you. Does that make sense to the both of you? You see how important this is?
Yeah.
Dad? Matt, why would this be important for Nicole to have?
Just kind of gives her that peace of mind.
Yeah, that's why Nicole. Same thing. It's clean, it's easy. So this makes sense to the both of you?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, the last benefit that they have for you is the living benefits. Okay, so this is why most families enroll. I'm going to stop getting you killed now. I'm just going to get you hurt. Okay, so this next benefit covers covers the family for any injury from an accident. So, for instance, let's say Olivia's running around playing out back and she twists her ankle, and she has to. And where are you guys headed? Emergency room, right?
Yeah.
So going to the emergency room, going to be there for about half hour, right? You're going to be there probably 5 to 6 hours at least. If you had to work that day, or if you had to leave work, you're out of money for work. And what's your copay?
It's about $100.
$100, yeah. If you're like me, $100 is $100. So you're out that money plus the time off of work. What this first benefit does, again, any injury from an accident, nothing internal like stomach hurts, fever, I don't feel good, but fall, sprain your ankle, bad reaction to a bee sting, chemical in your eye that needs to get flushed out. This is going to pay $200 per incident, as long as it's reported within 72 hours of the accident, and it's unlimited. You can use it as many times as you want. So say you needed to use it 3 times a year, that's $600 in your pocket. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This next portion is critical. Okay, this is why most members enroll. Say, Matt, you had to go down, you get in the car, go down the road, and get a gallon of milk down at the store. And on your way, some idiot runs a stop sign, bashes into your car, you wake up in the hospital. And say you're in the hospital for 10 days. Some pretty bad things are going to happen financially for you guys in those 10 days, I would imagine. What are some things that come to mind right away?
Oh man, the mortgage, car payment.
Yeah, all the bills, and you're out of work, right? And Nicole, where are you going to be? You're going to be at the side, right? So you're going to be out of work too. What this next benefit does is this will pay $400 per day you're in the hospital, up to 365 days per occurrence. So let's say something weird happens, Matt, where you're in there for 10 days, you leave, you have to go back, a month later. This 365 days starts all over again. So in this instance, 10 days, that's $4,000 in your name, tax-free. Doesn't go to the doctors, doesn't go to the hospital. It goes directly to you. You can use it for whatever you want. Could you guys use $4,000 at a time like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you bet you could, right? So you get all of this plus the accident benefits. Olivia's protected, income is protected, and your funerals are all taken care of, all for that pizza and wings a week.
Wow. Yeah.
If it gets a little worse, you end up in the intensive care unit. It's $800 a day for 14 days. If you're in there longer, no problem. It just reverts back to the $400 for 365 days. A lot of companies offer just this bottom portion down here. Aflac, Aetna combined, they're expensive. Okay, they can be $60 to $80 a month just for that last portion we just talked about. With this plan, you get all of that, accident coverage, Olivia's taken care of, income's protected, and your funerals are taken care of, all for that pizza and wings a week. This is also strike and layoff proof. Okay, so if your union goes on strike, we'll pay your premiums for 12 months. If you're laid off, God forbid, we'll pay your premiums for 3 months. What company in the world would do that for you? If you called your auto insurance company and said, hey, I need help paying my premiums, my union's on strike, they tell you to take your car off the road, right? So this last option is a no-brainer. We have option A that covers everything we just talked about, or you can go with an option B for $30.70 a month, and it would semi-inflation proof your funerals for $20,000, and everything else stays the same: the accident protection and the hospital money, your living benefits. So you can start with option B, or you can do what most families do and go with option A. Which works best for you guys?
Option A.
Option A? Perfect. Okay. Go ahead and get your driver's licenses, a voided check, and your medical information, because your coverage starts conditionally tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and start an application.